everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to start talking about Season 3 in detail. It's been released here on the first wave of servers, and here on server 33 we are 1 day into the season. Now there are other videos I've published on the Season 3 first look, as well as a couple videos on the preseason activities, and I will say there's already been changes between what was conveyed during the preseason week to what was released within the season, and I would expect there to be more. If you're in the first wave of servers that has had Season 3 released to them, these videos may not be as useful to you because, well, we're all trying to figure it out at the same time. So anybody who has yet to come about on Season 3, much like my content on Season 1 and Season 2, this content's really for you. So you can watch these videos, you can drop me a comment, and I'll answer as best I can. You can head over to the game Discord and get help there and gain some insights, and that can give you an advantage over other players on your server or in your Warzone grouping that maybe don't know about what's coming, and you can have that leg up. So one video we're going to cover here in our series later on are going to be the top 10 things to do to win early in Season 3. So that's going to be really important for anybody who is not yet in Season 3. If you already are, for us here, it's too late. That first day is a critical day. So with that said, I'm going to break down these videos into multiple parts because one video is going to be too darn long. There was a comic book type of storyline when the season was first launched here for us. There was a mail and there was an exchange between Scarlet and Monica. I recorded both of those last night. I sounded delirious and tired because I was very tired, and so I'm not going to post that video, but I'm going to cut out of that video those storyline pieces, and I'm going to insert that here so you guys can watch that and just read through it and get an idea of the basis for Season 3. Here on this first group of servers, the season started about 1 a.m. Eastern Time, and that season will run for 49 days. So we're 1 day in, so we have 48 days left. Now, depending on where you are located around the world, the season may start at a great time for you if you're in Asia. If you're in Europe or the US, depending on what time zone in the US, if you're West Coast, maybe not too bad, it's still late. If you're East Coast, it's 1 a.m. And what you need to keep in mind is no matter what time zone you're in, when the season starts, it's really that start time plus 4 or 5 more hours before you get to a point where you're kind of in waiting mode, right? So all these seasons operate very similar to each other. If you have been through Season 1 and you have been through Season 2, you will have realized that Season 2 has a lot of things in common with Season 1. You're going to notice that a lot of things here in Season 3 are in common with Season 2 and Season 1 as well. So the gameplay is not that different, but there are definitely new things here in Season 3 that have never existed before in the game, and there's some really exciting stuff yet to come that's not even released yet that's going to come about in the coming days. Spoiler alert, there are trading posts, and from what I've read, it appears that we should be able to trade some type of goods with other alliances, and I would presume folks within our alliance. And those trading posts apparently can maybe collect some kind of tax that the owning alliance, and the owner is the governor, that the owner is able to collect. So that's kind of cool, right? That can bring a whole different kind of dynamic to the game if something like that gets released here in Season 3 and then continues on and gets evolved and expanded. So Season 3, depending on what time it starts, it's at start time plus 4 hours, 5 hours before you really get to the point where you can step back, you can wait, and you're going to have a little bit of delay between your next activity so you can continue to progress. So my video that's going to talk about the top 10 things to do early to win in Season 3, that's going to help all of you prepare for what you need to do. Here in this video, let's cover the beginning of Season 3. Let's look at week 1. I'm going to break out rewards and other things with their own videos. So here we are in Season 3, 49 days. Right off the bat, we have Purge Action, Sandworm Crisis, Digging Stronghold Clash. We have a season and a weekly battle pass. There is also a seasonal resource purchase at packs as well. Now, we have the Desert Bazaar and the Desert Blessing, and then we'll also have the Season 3 City Clash and Build an Oasis. Those are yet to come to us here in another day, so we'll cover those as they advance. So first off, tapping on Season 3 at the top, we have a very familiar looking interface. We notice we're going to have 1 to 8 weeks, just like Season 1 and Season 2. We also have a leaderboard, a grouping, rules, goals, profession, and rewards, and season contributions. So all that's very, very familiar. This should not look entirely new to you. Now, in week 1, what did we have to do? Week 1 is a critical week, and there are a couple activities here that really make it a 4-hour endeavor in the first go. And it's really going to depend on how long it takes your war zones and your grouping to get going, right? So we have a series of ancient tech that we have to do. These activities require us to donate either iron, food, or coins across all the war zones. Once they're donated, there will be a reward that will be given out. So there are rewards that you will get. They do not at all cover how much you're going to have to contribute here, but it's absolutely important that you rally everybody in your war zone and across war zones if you got friends to start donating. So for this very first one, it's Ancient Tech Protectors Field. We had to donate iron in the total of 1 million across all of our war zones. Now for each of these, you can donate a count of 10 by 100 of the resource, and you can continue donating 100 increments of the resource for 50 diamonds. There is a ranking of the donations. You can see I'm way down here. I just did the basics, right? But if you were to donate 20,000 way up here, that's a lot of diamonds to put into it. There are rewards for this. For the top 10, you can get the rewards shown here. And if you look at this, it's really not worth the resources that you need to put in to get first place. So I don't even bother trying. But first place will get a set of 2,500 Alliance contribution points. You will get iron and food resource chests and 25-minute construction speed-ups. You can see that the winnings, the rewards, are the same as we go down the tiers, but they just decrease in quantity. So if you want to go for that, have at it. None of the seasons have I found this actually to be beneficial, but it is competition across all the war zones in your grouping, so keep that in mind. So once this activity was completed, we were able to build, or in this case, repair one of the very first seasonal buildings, and that's the Protector's Field. So if you watched my video on the first look at Season 3, you know we have this new troop. It's called the Protectors. They are desert protectors, and they are your dead troops kind of reincarnated. And they get one more chance to help you fight. Right? And so this Protector's Field is like the drill ground for your desert protectors, just like the drill grounds hold your troops in your base. So once this activity is complete across the war zones, you could tap here or you can go back to your base, but if we go this way, it's going to take me to that particular building. And it is automatically out front of your base, just like in previous seasons we have the other seasonal area here. You will need to repair this building, and then you can start to level up the building the first few levels are only going to require your basic resources, and then they're going to start to require a lot of the seasonal resources, the sacred water and the mithril. So one of my tips in the top 10 things to win early in Season 3 is going to be don't go too crazy with the Protector's Field, because it will be important later but not in the beginning. So Protector's Fields is the first thing that you want to release here with the very first activity under Ancient Tech. The second activity is the Curse Research Lab. So you're probably sitting here and saying, I've been through Season 1, I've been through Season 2. I had a Virus Research Institute in Season 1, I had a furnace in Season 2. They basically serve the same purpose, right? Your furnace gave you virus resistance. It still existed in Season 2. It also kept you warm. Of course, the Virus Research Institute, that gave you resistance in Season 1. Well, the Curse Research Lab, as we know in Season 3, there is a curse across the desert. You need to get resistance to be able to kill the mummies and the monsters and other world bosses and capture land, and you get that resistance through the Curse Research Lab. So in this case, across all of our war zones, we had to donate 2 million food. Same thing, you can donate 100 food by 10, and then you can use 50 diamonds to go beyond that. Just like for the Protector's Field first activity, there is a leaderboard here, and there are rewards for the top 10 folks on that leaderboard. Same rewards as we saw for the previous activity. So if you want to go for it, but make your decision if it's actually worth it to you. So you will get a chest with the same rewards that we have from the previous one when this activity is completed. So just donate your 10 donation counts. You've contributed to all the war zones, and you're going to get the rewards as soon as everybody completes this activity here across the war zones. Now, once this is complete, we're going to open up the Curse Research Lab, and the Curse Research Lab is what boosts your cure resistance. So we can go ahead and tap Go here. That takes us to our very familiar Season 1 and Season 2 looking area outside our base where the seasonal buildings go. The Curse Research Lab is what you see right here. You're going to have to build it. So if it was just starting out, there'll be nothing in this area, and you will then be prompted to place the Curse Research Lab. The Curse Research Lab is what is going to give you the curse resistance. It will increase just like in Season 1 did, and just like the furnace did in Season 2. It's going to increase as you level up, and it is going to take the sacred water in order to level up this particular building. There are also headquarters requirements, so keep that in mind, that it's not just going to let you go forward if you are a new player on the server. So you will get one of these buildings. It will leave at the end of the season. It will disappear. You will get power each time, but the big thing is your curse resistance. So the second activity of week 1 is what will unlock the Curse Research Lab. The third activity under Ancient Tech is the Blessing Fountain. So this is the third of the 4 new Season 3 building structures. And then you have this Alliance Center. It's going to be for your Alliance. So the Blessing Fountain, that required us to donate 3 million coins across all the war zones. You have the same donate 100 coins by 10, and then donate again with 50 diamonds. There is the same looking leaderboard here, and the rewards are the same as the previous 2 activities. So once this activity has been satisfied, you're going to go to a reward chest that you can claim, and you will be able to build the first of your blessing fountains. And that will be built out in this season building area here, and that's what you see in these 5 buildings. Now there are up to 5 of them. It is just like in Season 1 and Season 2. In order to build the second one, the first one needs to reach level 15. In order to build the third, second, level 15, and so on. And there's one extra one, the 5th one, that is accessible through the weekly pass. So these fountains are going to allow you to produce on your own sacred water. You'll need the mithril in order to level up these buildings. You're also going to need the mithril and the sacred water for the Protector's Field, as we saw a few moments ago, after you get past the first few levels. So definitely get these to level 15 so you can build the next one as soon as they're released. You need to start producing sacred water as quickly as possible in order to upgrade your curse research lab. Back in week 1, we have the Blessing Fountain. That's the third building that you're going to build in week 1 in your base. Up next, these are activities that have not released to us yet, but they will be coming in the next couple days. So the fourth activity is under Ancient Tech again, and that's the Alliance Center. So on day 2 of the season in week 1, you will have to donate, again, coins across all the war zones. Once these coins are fully donated, you'll have a chest here that you can claim the rewards, and then you will be able to, as an alliance, build your Alliance Center. And that Alliance Center is going to give you some territory buffs as long as you're within range of it. It's also going to protect you from being knocked around the world by the giant sandworms. So we'll have to cover the sandworms in a separate video. But you can think of the Alliance Center as the furnace from Season 2, for example. So the furnace had a coverage area that kept you warm. The Alliance Center is going to have a coverage area that gives some kind of territory buff. I'm presuming it's going to hold your spice, and it is going to protect you from the giant sandworms teleporting you randomly across the map somewhere, which can get expensive if that happens to you quite frequently, and it did happen to me, and it was what the heck happened kind of moment. So the Alliance Center is going to be an Alliance level building that you will build after this activity is completed on day 2 of week 1. The next activity is when cities become available. So in this case, all war zones have to capture 10 digging strongholds in total. So that's basically 1.15 strongholds per war zone in your grouping. Not too hard to accomplish. You'll get a chest here, and this will also make the level 1 cities ready for war declaration. So just like in the previous seasons, you had to capture a stronghold in Season 1 or a digging site in Season 2. Once you capture that, you can then progress to a city. You have to go with level 1, and it has to probably be connected, I'm going to presume, and then you can traverse through the map that way. So this activity here is going to open up on the 3rd day of week 1. And then finally, on the end of week 1, so we are now 3, 4, 5, 6 days in, we will have our level 2 cities, the altar, become available after we have killed 100,000 enemy units from another war zone. So you can imagine this is going to come about when we have verses and when we have some type of city clash, some type of battle between alliances. So this last activity is when the war is going to begin. So that will make now the level 2 cities ready for declaration. So in week 1, we have these 6 activities. The first 3 are going to allow you to build an individual building. The 4th one will allow you to build an alliance building, and the last 2 have to do with land captures. You will get rewards for each of these, free to play, nothing you have to pay to get this. Everyone can get these rewards as your war zones logically progress forward. There are rewards for the top 10 ranking in a number of these activities. If it's worth it to you, go for it. For Season 3 here, let's go ahead and tap the info panel before we go any further. So I always encourage you to read everything you see here in the info panel. It's going to give you critical information that you need in order to understand what's actually going to happen. So here in this particular info panel for Season 3 of the Golden Realm, we see a lot of information that we have already learned. What we can see here is across the oceans, mountains, and through relentless desert storms, an ancient and forgotten kingdom is quietly awakening. After his crushing defeat, Noah has hatched a new dark plan. So that's our foe. Noah is our main enemy that we're trying to liberate the desert from. Leading the remnants of his doomed legion, he has journeyed far to the Golden Realm and unearthed the legendary Monument of the Dead. Now we know Scarlet has already stolen that back. This artifact, once a symbol of imperial might, holds the power to awaken unstoppable protectors and was the ultimate weapon of conquest. After the fall of the Golden Realm, the monument was sealed inside the Great Pyramid. The Great Pyramid is the capital building aka the nuclear furnace in Season 2, and so on. And its guardians fell into eternal slumber beneath the sands. Now Noah has unlocked the monument's secrets and crowned himself the new Golden Realm Emperor. With his army of protectors awakened, he has unleashed raging sandstorms. We haven't seen any of those yet, but I'm imagining they're going to come about, and they're going to be like the blizzards, and they have consumed the realm. But hope remains. Scarlet, who had been tracking Noah for some time, intercepted and stole the monument at a critical moment. Though she couldn't entirely negate Noah's power, she has enabled us to summon protectors. The fight for the Golden Realm's future is about to unfold. So that's the highlight summary of the backstory of Season 3. There are a lot of places you can go ahead and take a look at that. So always tap the info panel to learn about whatever you're looking at here within the game. So let's go ahead and take a look at the leaderboard. We can see that we will have an alliance leaderboard, and it's indicating total spices. So we know that just like in Season 2, where we had to collect rare soil, here in Season 3, the main way that you will be ranked is by the spice that you have accumulated. So this is going to keep that in common with Season 2. Remember, Season 1 was all about the land you captured and your influence points. So they made a pretty big change between Season 1 and Season 2, and it looks like Season 3 is so far going to stick with it. Let's tap this info panel and see what we learn. So Alliance Spices. When an alliance captures a city, it periodically generates spices. I would presume that this is going to be true for the Strongholds, as well as cities, just like in Season 2. Earn spices by winning as an attacker in the Spice War. So we had the Rare Soil Wars in Season 2. We're going to have a very similar type of thing here in Season 3 with the Spice War. Season end rewards are given based on Alliance Spice rankings. And the leaderboard data is updated with a delay, just like in Season 2. So this is going to start to populate here as we move forward. If we were to tap rewards, that's going to take us into the rewards interface, and we can see that there are now ranges for this. So the first one is your number 1 ranked, number 2 to 3, 4 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 50, 51 to 80, 81 to 120, and 121 to 999 for the last place. We are going to cover all these rewards in a separate video because there's quite a bit here, but the good news is, much like in Season 2, pretty much all the alliances are going to get a reward. Now we have Warzone. So the Warzones, much like in Season 2 with Rare Soil, they will also be ranked by total spice. I do presume that we're going to have factions, and I think that's still in the mix here, but again, remember, they did change a few things when the season was released. One thing that I want to mention they did change is they did reduce the benefit of the Eternal Pyramid decoration from 3% to 1% that it provides for your desert protectors. Don't really know why, but they said to make the game more fair. If we go ahead and tap this info panel, we're going to see that Warzone spice totals all the spices of all alliances within the Warzone. So you want to still work together as a server, as a Warzone. This game is not really about war within your own server. It's about beating other servers. So keep that in mind. If you got a server that is not cooperating, you're going to struggle. Rewards this season aren't based on Warzone spicing ranks. They're just for show. So you know that the Alliance reward is what actually matters when it comes to season rewards, and of course there's a delay. All right, so that is our leaderboard for Alliance and Warzone. We saw a grouping in my preseason videos here. So the grouping is going to be where you can see the 8 servers that you will be competing against. You can see the leading alliance on each of those servers. And if you were to tap view, you can go ahead and traverse the map and look around that particular server to start to do some reconnaissance and intelligence gathering. This will also be your main means to teleport between servers. And so all you would do is you would go to view, you would go ahead and tap here once we get unlocked in the Warzone Wars. You can now teleport freely just like in the prior seasons as well, which is nice. You're not restricted anymore just to versus Assault Day. Tab rules, we looked at this in the pre-season video, so I'm not going to go back through it. I do encourage you to go watch that video for a detailed account of the week 1 rules, but it will give us a little more of the backstory, tell us what spice is, talk about the Alliance Center, the Desert Protectors, how to convert the Protector skills and conversion help. We'll talk about the sandworms, the large, small, large, giant, the Desert Bazaar. We're going to talk about that a little later. The season resources and buildings are all described here, so I've covered all this in another video. Definitely go watch it there, as well as build the oasis, which is where we start to turn the desert from a wasteland back to a nice green, lush area. So definitely read the rules. It's absolutely important that you do that as well. Now, see, the day has changed here, so always look for the red dots. There's going to be a lot of them. So week 1, since we have now gone to the new day, right, the Alliance Center and Ancient Tech has opened up. So I'll go ahead and I will donate my coins. And as I donate coins, I am getting Alliance contribution points for that. So make sure you at least donate your 10. If you donate 50 diamonds after that, you'll still get some points, and it will still contribute to the total, but you may not want to go too crazy there because the payback is not that great. You can see once we progress through each of the days, it's going to mark those other activities complete. So do make sure you collect your rewards here once they release. For this one, we're going to get Mithril, Sacred Water, and Diamonds. And as the days progress, we'll get to see what the rewards are for the other activities. It was different rewards for these first 3. So make sure you collect those rewards because you may not be able to after they're done. Maybe they come in the mail. I don't know, but I wouldn't chance it because you saw in the preseason, if you didn't collect your rewards in the preseason, you didn't get them. So always watch the red dots here. So now we've changed the day. You can see that that's happened. Goals. I'm going to cover this in a little more detail in a separate video, but there are individual and alliance level goals. They are just like what you see in Season 2 with a little bit different context. So we'll cover this in detail in a separate, very focused video on that topic. Professions, we still don't have the diplomat, so we've got the engineer and the war leader. Both of those have increased to a level 100 set of skills. Any experience that you had from the prior season, you will receive that in your inventory by a mail, and you will start to receive professional experience through killing monsters and zombies, as well as different seasonal battle passes and things of that nature, where you can collect additional experience books or purchase them from an in-game store. That will help you advance the level. This is just like the previous seasons. I'm going to cover these profession changes in detail in a separate video because it's a lot. I'll break it up each one on its own. And then we already talked about rewards. We'll cover that in detail later. Season contributions. This is very similar to Season 1, Season 2. We are going to break it down by exploration, siege, spice war, and enemy kill. Enemy kill is not here yet. You will have daily ranking, weekly ranking, and season totals. You can tap the info button to see what you have to do to get points. So for enemy kill, it's what it sounds like, killing enemies in the units in the enemy faction. Depending on level, you'll get different points. Exploration, daily, weekly, season total. Here in exploration, we will have a series of activities complete. So I will cover all of this in detail in a separate video as well, just to not let this one get too long. So the rest of what we've got are the different activities that are going to come about throughout the course of the season. Purge actions, sandstorm, sandworm, crisis, digging stronghold, clash, the battle passes, and so on. So each of these I'm going to break down in its own video, so that way we can have it categorized in the playlist, easy to find, easy to jump to what you want to see, so you don't have to try to go through an hour-and-a-half long video and figure out what in the world I'm talking about. Also up here at the top is where you can look at, that's a little notebook icon up there. This is where you can look at the patch notes for the season. Hopefully they're going to keep this running list here as we go forward, but I mentioned earlier that the pyramid decorations conversion rate for the Desert Protector was reduced from 3% to 1%, and because they want to make a more balanced environment. I guess maybe they found that a lot of paid to play had the Eternal Pyramid and a lot of free didn't, and so they didn't want the paid to play to get even further ahead. Don't know, a little undecided if this was good or bad. I've had the Pyramid. I do think there are ways you could have gotten it as free to play, but maybe not up to level 3 to get the max benefit from it. So you can keep track of the patches that come out for the season there. So this is your main seasonal interface. In a separate video, I'm also going to cover the map, We're going to dig into that. There's a lot of great resources already out there from the community. They have put together maps in spreadsheet form, image form. It can help you plan. You can take a look at where you want to maybe place your alliance for optimal gains in the season in your war zones. There's a lot of good stuff out there from the Last War community members and your fellow players across the servers here. All right, everybody, smash that like button, subscribe, drop me a comment, and more to come as we move forward. Take care, everybody.